What's up, book nerds? My name is Tara, and today I'm going to do a review of I Call Myself a Feminist for the Feminist Orchestra Book Club. I Call Myself a Feminist is our March pick for the very first meeting of the book club that is meeting on Goodreads and across BookTube. I will be talking about details of the book, though there's really not anything here to spoil, so you should be okay if you watch this entire video and haven't yet read the book. Though we do invite you to read the book and join in on the conversation. So this book is a collection of 25 essays from women under the age of 30. The essays are related to the topic of calling oneself a feminist, and then interspersed with these 25 essays are quotes and I guess more like excerpts from different books that are considered feminist or on the topic of feminism within books. I also should note that most of these essays are relatively short because if you look at the length of the book, there are 25 essays in here, but each of the quotes and excerpts also takes up a full page. So the essays themselves are only like 5 to 6 pages long. So this is a great way to just read an essay here or there, or to pick and choose ones that are of interest to you, because this is actually quite a fast read. So what's hiding inside the pages of this book? It is an exploration of the third wave feminist or the millennial feminist understanding of what it means to be a feminist. In particular, a theme that stood out very strongly here was the inclusion of intersectional feminism in several of the essays. If you're not familiar with intersectional feminism, this is the notion that being a woman is just one layer of oppression that a person may experience. And so the traditional feminist movements from the first and second wave tended to focus on white, cisgender, Christian, Western, heteronormative feminists, able-bodied, all of these layers that are wrapped up in what we think of as a feminist, but in reality this excludes a lot of women from the movement. And so intersectional feminism says there's a lot of other women out there who may experience additional layers of oppression, and when those compound, all those women, they have different stories, they have different experiences, and those voices are included then in that movement. However, in addition to the inclusion of intersectional feminism here, there's also a big focus on rape and sexual violence, particularly date rape, and sort of the complexities of the relationships that women are expected to have under capitalism and the way that popular culture and the media tell us that we have to be a woman. This book also focuses on an issue that is very relevant and specific to the third wave millennial feminist movement, and that is the rejection of feminism because of the feminazi stereotype. So there's a lot of women who may agree with feminist ideals, but they say, well, I am not going to call myself a feminist because of the negative connotations that brings in society and in my relationships with other people. In addition, some people feel that feminism is done, that the genders are equal, and that why are we still talking about this? We need to move on and talk about other things, whereas many of the authors in this book challenge that notion. So I thought it was very nice that at the very beginning of the book, the dedication says that this is to all those who call themselves feminists, whether they say it out loud or not. These are people who are making a public declaration that they are considering themselves feminists, but there are many women out there who maybe this is trying to speak to say, hey, look, you might be a feminist too, and you didn't even realize it. This is what we're really about. Overall, I enjoyed this book. I think it was an excellent pick for the Feminist Orchestra Book Club's very first read because, like I said, there are many people who are new to the movement. They may not have read like oodles and oodles of academic feminist texts. So this gives everybody a starting place for that discussion to begin. For me personally, I felt that it was valuable but not particularly life-changing because I have read a lot of the traditional feminist texts and have been in this world for a while. So for me, reading 25 essays on the topic did at some points feel very tedious. Some of the essays did run together a little bit, and overall there wasn't a lot here that was particularly memorable, and I feel that was because the essays were so terribly short. While I liked hearing from the variety of voices, 5 to 6 pages just wasn't enough for me to feel like I was learning something new or really getting to get to know these people who were authoring the essays. However, as a teacher, as a future professor, I did feel like there are many pedagogical possibilities here. Last fall, I taught our social justice and education course, and I could absolutely picture this being something that I would give a few chapters of to students or do a class activity where they each read a different essay. I also felt that this would be good for modeling. Here is a type of essay on this topic, and now you write sort of your manifesto on this topic. So thinking always, as I do as a teacher, there's definitely a lot here that I think would be great for sharing with undergraduate students who are just learning about some of these topics for the very first time, particularly intersectional feminism. In addition, I thought this is a really excellent book for the young feminist. So high schoolers in particular who are not yet in this young 20-something category that this book is really, like the authors of this book are in that category. For 16-year-olds, then this is the type of book that's a great picture into their future, where they're going to be, where they're going to go. These 20-something women can be their role models thinking about getting out of that world of high school and into the bigger, broader world that they're about to enter. Within the book, obviously there were a lot of essays that were really good that I enjoyed reading at the time. There were a few that I skimmed more than I read, but 2 of the essays did stand out to me. The first was called I Call Myself a Feminist with My Elbows by Amy Annette. And she's a comedian, so she was writing it like a monologue. So I appreciated the humor because not a lot of the essays were particularly funny. I think that humor is important in getting a message. It's one important way of getting a message across. And so I thought that the essay was really clever in how she was talking about bodies taking up space and just declaring herself, having to kind of dig her way in to declaring this to the world through the way that she moves her body and the way that she exists in the world. The other essay that I really enjoyed was called Women Should Get to Be Rubbish Too by Isabel Adamako Young. And I thought this was particularly relevant to those of us who are booktubers or who are thinking about media a lot, because it was talking about media portrayals of women, and particularly this strong female protagonist character that comes up so much, especially here on BookTube or when we're reviewing books, and how women have these different expectations from what men get to be. That women kind of have to be everything and do everything, and we don't get to have flaws. And sometimes we should get to have flaws. We should get to be terrible people or just not perfect people. So women should get to be rubbish in all walks of life and not have to be idealized and perfect in basically every facet of their character or being. Pretty basic idea, but still one that we haven't quite yet been able to grasp, I think, in this day and age. If this review piques your interest for feminism or for the content of this book, then you might want to think about joining us in the Feminist Orchestra Book Club, because there are many smart and brilliant women of all variations of experience with feminism who are in this club. We're chatting it up on Goodreads. We're making video reviews and blog posts about these books, talking about them on Twitter. So join us in that pursuit. If you have any thoughts or comments you want to share on this book with me, you can leave those in the comments below. I would love to chat more about this book specifically with you. And as always, book nerds, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Did you notice that my little discussion of intersectional feminism is on point? And that is because I had to teach a whole class on it on the fall and had to fit everything intersectional feminism into a 2.5-hour class. We got it done, but I really had to keep it down because there's a lot there, but we got it into that little tiny class.